How's your Christmas week so far? Are you ready
Yeah,
for Christmas? Yeah, I see you got a hat, so
yeah,
you're mostly ready.
yeah. Mostly ready. Got
Yeah.
lucky we were able to do most of our shopping beforehand. It felt like there was less time to do that this year, but I just got lucky doing it early.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens that way where you end up just coming across something. You're like, oh, I know they'll love this or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but it worked out this year. Hey, everybody, we're live here on the 10th night of Catsmas, of the 12 days of Catsmas. It's the 10th one. I'm live with Ben St. John, raising money for Hazel's House in Portland, Oregon. They are doing a lot of great things to help find homes for animals and things. So donate to them. There's a link in the description, not in the chat. I'll put one in there. Yeah, we're talking about a dinner theater version of Cats that we found online.
First of all,
Yeah.
did you scour the internet for different versions of cats, or what was the process of like
Yeah.
finding 12 examples
Right.
of
There's so
this
many.
ridiculous musical?
Yeah. So like last year I did the 12 days of Rentness where I watched a different version of Rent every day. And
Okay.
I just looked
I
on
think that-
YouTube and found a bunch of them.
Yeah.
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 But this year, one of the first things I found was a playlist someone had made on YouTube with 187 videos in it of different productions of Cats. So she did all the great work for me this year.
Yes,
Look for the
somebody
fun ones.
somebody was dedicated to making sure that everything was cataloged, like nothing got lost to
Yeah.
the annals of the internet.
Right. Yeah, it's there. Stuff from all over.
We've got to make sure this
Yeah.
gets cataloged.
Yeah, Katie Lawrence on YouTube. I have to shout her out every time we do it.
Yeah, shout out
Yeah.
Katie.
And there's
I
188
don't know
now.
if yeah. I don't know what it says about you, Katie, but I like it.
Yeah.
I like where your head
It
is at.
worked for me today, but it's weird that you're doing it. But
Yeah,
it's great. It's great that you're doing it, but yeah, it's weird.
Great. It's great, but strange. Super strange. What was the date on the 100? Or was she just keep continuing to add to it?
It says last. It was 3 days ago.
It was a living document.
Yeah, she's still adding to it. She's still scouring YouTube for more Cats videos.
Oh my god. I do enjoy that. She's not worried about like getting the best ones. Just
it's all of them.
Everything. Yes. Yeah. Like if you did a skit in front of your parents, like it's added to the collection.
Yeah. So last night we did a weird Russian like sketch comedy show where they did like an hour and a half long parody of Cats.
Was it even? I didn't watch that.
Right.
Was it even like? Did it even resemble anything from?
People were wearing various cat costumes. Like one.
Oh, okay.
One old man was playing a little girl, so he wore a Hello Kitty shirt. He had whiskers.
You don't know if it's like genius or he didn't put any effort into it. Yeah.
It definitely had a very public access feel to it, which was pretty cool.
Oh yeah. It's like no budget, so come with something that you can loosely tie to what we're doing.
Yeah. You have to trust the audience's suspension of disbelief. And they're using their imagination. Yeah, like the live studio audience was loving it. So there's something about it.
Well, I do hear, and I don't know if did you ever see that TV show Exporting Raymond?
Exporting Raymond? No.
Yeah, it's about Everybody Loves Raymond, the TV show.
Okay, right.
And they tried to get it's basically a docu-series, but the creators of it tried to take it to Russia.
Right.
And what they did was they cast it, like basically recreated the TV show.
Oh, so they didn't just dub over old episodes of
No, they remade it. They remade it in like Russian, and I guess they tried to basically the Russian producers tried to basically rewrite the show to make it work for like
Or
a Russian
right.
sensibility. And it was, I guess they're still in basically their sense of humor is still like vaudeville, because it was just like
Yeah.
pratfalls and Three Stooges stunts.
Yeah.
So they basically remade the show, but remade it into Three Stooges.
That's great. I find that. Yeah, there's a lot of that kind of stuff last night. Yeah. We couldn't tell what they were saying in Russian, but then someone would get bonked on the head. Okay.
Yeah.
I know what's going on.
but I guess Russian sense of humor is 100 years behind everybody else's.
Because Russian literature is like a thing people always talk about as being really
but
important and
not
great.
Exactly their exactly their stand-ups. You know, they're
comedic sense.
Yakov Smirnoff.
Right. The theater masks in Russia, it's like one really big tragedy mask and then a very small.
Yeah. Right. They for some reason they didn't get that one when those got sent out.
Yeah.
They didn't realize there was another part of it was Dostoevsky or whatever. He was they were like, this is the only kind of theater that exists now.
Yeah.
Here.
This is important. It's very Russian that way.
I'm sorry. So
have you seen Cats before? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
No.
Okay.
I have not. So was this production? It's weird because I actually have seen. I know it wouldn't seem like it, but I've seen quite a few musicals.
Okay.
Cats was never one that I sought out, though.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I have a feeling it wouldn't be it wouldn't be one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's tough because it's not really a story. It's just loose songs about cats. So you have to be into that.
That's exactly what I was gonna ask. I was like, so are they doing this cabaret style where it's like they're just singing the songs and there's none of the actual plot? Or because that's what I watched the dinner theater version.
Oh, okay.
But I assume because there wasn't anything else happening. Right. And it was just basically each character was singing a song about themselves.
Yeah.
And how they are, and then another character would get up and sing a song.
Then you never see him again. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
how the actual music goes.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of an arc with Isabella singing Memories.
Yeah.
And how she finally she's not accepted by the cats, and then she is accepted and goes up to the heavy side. Sure. That's like the only thing that has any sort of arc or story to it. But everything else, it's just cats talking about what they like.
Is like, why are people still doing this? And I can understand. Yeah. So I went I did because I was this. It's such an absurd thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That I went and I checked out to see like who wrote it and all that stuff, and and then it was 1939. So I get it.
Okay.
Everybody had like a radio.
Right.
There was for entertainment, you would just stare at each other, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
But so I get
Candlelight.
Why crazy cat costumes and running around singing songs, but people still obviously our YouTube friend
crazy.
is dedicating part of her life to cataloging.
Yeah, she's checking in at least once a week just to see if there's more stuff.
Yeah. So people identify with this, obviously.
And it's so weird because like I said, the Memories is the only song that's about feelings and emotion and something you can relate to.
Yes.
But every other song is simply this is a description of a type of cat that likes to do something. So it's weird that people identify so much.
It's a cat preference of something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is bonkers
behind you.
How, was Andrew Lloyd Webber, was he a big super big into drugs or anything? Is he known for
I think so. I think he just really likes
LSD or
cats.
Okay.
Because I mean, like Phantom of the Opera and like most big musicals like that came out of like the 80s, they were all Andrew Lloyd Webber stuff. So it's not like he's a crazy person. Like he makes generally mainstream stuff.
As I was watching it, the idea or like what kind of came across, I mean I didn't know the history at the time, so I like I've learned a little bit since then as far as like where it came from and what the hell
a Jellicle
cat is and all that stuff. Yeah, so ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it seemed to me like this could have easily been art created during this pandemic. Like you're just like you have no nothing going on. You're sitting in your apartment,
right?
You're like,
you have a cat.
You got your cat wandering around and you're just like basically studying it for hours on end. You're like, I'm a musical, like I'm a playwright or I'm a like, but I don't have any outside stimulation. Nothing's happening. So like, let me write a musical. This is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna write a musical about my cat.
Right.
Yeah.
So it feels like if you just go song by song, it could have just been somebody you just go on Instagram and you just sing a song about your cat, what they're doing today. You just did that for a week.
Yes.
And then it became the biggest musical of all time and made like $4 billion or something already in the last 40 years.
You've got to like, I wonder, and I would rather speculate than know. So please do not please don't correct me if you know this. But I wonder about this guy as far as like this could have been a giant troll, like an original troll, and then people were like, "Oh, this is awesome."
Yeah,
and he's like, "What?"
Kind of feels like he's daring you to like it, which is like that's what art is, right? That's what good art is. That's what I
maybe. Yeah, right. And if it's one of those things where you're like, listen, if you know, you know. If you don't, you're a pleb or whatever. You're one of the unwashed masses, and
just don't get it. You're not at that same level as the rest of us. I kind of feel like it's like the Cannibal Holocaust of musicals, where like you have to. It's like a badge of honor to be like, I'm so into this genre that like I like this.
Yeah. But I feel like there's a little bit more, I don't know, maybe a little bit more cred in the Cannibal Holocaust. I think I would be willing to bet that if you because it's so known. I've known about it, and I knew about the main song from it and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, but I never watched it. But if somebody brought it up in like a conversation at a dinner party,
right,
I'd just be like, "Oh yeah, cool, yeah, it was great, yeah, whatever." Like I think most of us are doing a lot of that,
right?
And then like only a few of us actually are just to move the conversation
along.
Like most of us are doing that versus like actually sitting down and watching it and being like, "Oh, I've made a horrible mistake by telling all of my friends that I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it."
This is one of those things. It's sort of like cultural osmosis. You've heard about it. You know that it's a thing, and it's been really popular. So it can't be that bad.
Right.
It's the longest running musical on Broadway of all time, or whatever.
That's
so strange.
Insane. That is insane. That's the case. That is so crazy. It's coming up on like public domain, so they won't even have to pay for it very soon. And then it'll be basically it'll never go away. Then. Oh my God. Oh.
It'll be great.
It'll be Shakespeare and cats forever.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So I like, as far as the piece that you made me watch is a dinner theater piece, and
from about 2004 it was saying on the
2004 yeah, but it could have been, honestly, it could have been between the year 1988 and 2020. Like
Yeah.
there, it looked like, I mean, the video quality was not great, but
Yeah.
it looked like, you know, it could have been any, like it could have been any of that.
Yeah.
It was maybe that's why it's timeless. It's
Yeah.
it's a timeless piece.
Because it doesn't age, because the cats, you know, it's not like in another play where it's like something like Rent, where everyone is dressed like it's the early 90s. And
yes.
so if you watch it today, everyone looks like they're wearing a costume.
Yeah.
I mean, they're wearing cat costumes, but you know, you can't. It's not tied to a specific.
Right. Yeah, and it's not like the cat costume. You would be like, oh, that's early '90s cat costume.
Yeah.
But you know, they all look ridiculous.
But it is definitely like an '80s glam rock kind of hairstyle, but it's just built into that costume so much that you just take it as that's what cats look like in this world. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I found it interesting, and I don't know if this is ubiquitous for all of the videos on her catalog, but the comments were turned off.
Oh,
I thought
yeah.
I'm sure there was plenty of I'm sure there's plenty of fans that watch it, but I'm sure there's plenty of people that are vulgar, I would say, probably about the performance or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's probably because it's a dinner theater recording, and like I only know about dinner theater like as a punchline of people making fun of dinner theater. So they're probably just trying to prevent people from coming in and shitting on their dinner theater thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Right. They don't want people coming in and just doxing people or whatever. I went to this dinner theater and so at the beginning, did you watch? How many of these? Have you watched every 12 that you assign people?
Right. Well, I mean, I'm watching them day by day, so I still got the next two.
Yeah. Okay. And obviously there's some that are probably better than others, although I don't know how you would actually tell. But I had to. So at the beginning of before it started, there's some like ambient music that was I had to turn it up to like 1.25 because I thought that it was like there was something wrong, because it felt like you were on ketamine or something, because it was like this kind of out of tune, like, and slow, like a little bit slower than it should be.
It's kind of discordant, like the notes and stuff in there, and it goes on for I think a good 4 minutes probably.
Yes, and I was like, what is happening here? That's why I was curious if ALW, as I like to call him, was like really into like ketamine or something.
Could have been.
He was definitely a horny guy.
Oh yeah, this is the horniest show. Yeah,
this is such a horny show. Like he's so horny. He was so horny. Like he's staring at his cat's asshole, and it was just so horny.
But I wonder how much of that is just because like the songs themselves aren't horny, but all of the performances are. Yeah.
Yes, very horny. Like there's a lot of like singing while other cats are basically like genital level, and they're like thrusting and things.
Oh yeah, like Rum Tum Tugger. That's all. That's what his character is just hips.
Yes.
Faces. Yeah.
Yes. I found that extremely, especially for dinner theater, extremely kind of disconcerting as I'm trying to like eat mashed potatoes or whatever.
Right.
I was like, this is really strange.
Yeah, it's got to be uncomfortable, especially when because they're on the same level as the audience. It's not a raised stage.
Yeah. They're right there. You can see the
contact.
Tables. Yeah, they're right there. So I wasn't watching it and like, this is how I'm going to shit on it the whole time. I actually watched it and I was like, what is good about this? I was trying to like, I was like, what are people seeing? What might be like beneficial or quality or like what is, and I wrote down a couple things that like I didn't want to just shit on it. So I wrote down a couple things that I thought was interesting, or I can't even say I liked, but like found So
Right, noteworthy.
noteworthy. So the performers were they're not just. It's obviously that they're not. It's obvious that they're not just like musical theater kids. They were very acrobatic.
Yeah.
And like there was a lot of like ballet and things along that, like and flips and stuff. So they had like, they were like whatever dance backgrounds and stuff that they had, they were like pretty good at all that stuff.
Yeah, they did a really great job.
Yeah.
It's a fun
and
thing
especially for kind of a small space, I would say.
Yeah, it's not a huge stage, but also interesting the way it's set up, because like the stage was running through the middle of the room, and they had the audience on both sides of them. So they kind of had to play, not quite 360 degrees, but basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty interesting. They I think like I think this is like a costume and makeup designers. I think I would assume they probably enjoy doing some of this stuff.
Right.
Because like obviously there wasn't really a set per se. I mean, there was a slide and some level changes. You could there's some places to, but it wasn't like a big production other than the costuming and the makeup or whatever.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about the show is like basically even on like the West End, like England's Broadway version that they did, like the whole thing is set in like a junkyard, so you don't really have much of a set. It's just like random trash and stuff. So even bigger productions, it's just bigger trash. So people putting on this play, like you don't really need to like be building a bunch of sets or anything crazy. So specific even. Yeah.
Is there any like I mean, you've already subjected yourself to a ton of this. Is there any examples of say this is my this is my like directors or theaters or productions, like this is my version of Cats, but it's like basic a minimalist whatever, so there's no costumes or no like that kind of thing where they try to get even more artistic or whatever, because I've seen like what was it what was the name of, I've seen what was that Brooklyn, or was it Brooklyn play, something had a bridge in the name. What's the name of that famous play? I'll think of it.
I don't.
But I saw like a version of that where it was like it was just done around a box, like a built up, but it's like this famous. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to get like cool and interesting or whatever, or stripped down or whatever.
Yeah, and just doing a kind of a different take on it. Symbolically, like I haven't seen anything super different. A lot of them kind of stick close to the original. But in the one from Hungary I watched, they were making some different decisions about how characters were doing stuff. Like their Rum Tum Tugger was played like an older guy, so he wasn't moving his hips as much and just like playing women's legs like a guitar, and strumming their crotch.
So like the choreography changes up a little bit. That I can't really like such a, for how popular and how long running and all that stuff, like a loose collection of not even good songs. Like, it's not, I would absolutely admit if I was like, oh, this is a catchy tune. This is like a
I think they're
catchy tune.
They're catchy and I'm enjoying them while I listen to them, but like none of those songs I would pull up on Spotify and just listen to later on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they did have like I guess because I'm sure I've heard it, like, so it was more of like they're like one radio hit basically, I guess. But everything else is like you said, it's very specific to like, this is how horny a cat I am, or what, it's like a weird
Yeah,
horny
and
guy for
like you said, it's
sure.
too specific. So it's not about, oh, this is what it's like to be horny. Like this is like the anthem for horny people. You should listen to it. No,
Yeah.
this is just about Rum Tum Tugger. He's a curious cat, which means horny
Right.
somehow.
Right. Right. Yeah. 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 It's so insane. And like, I forget what it was, one of the earlier on tunes about like, if you basically like, I'm not going to do what you want me to do.
Yeah,
Basically, that was the whole
yeah.
point of it. Like, if you, yeah, I'm just going to do the opposite
Yeah,
of
just
what
a
you're
cat
asking.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I've been watching this for like 10 days straight now. Like I'm basically on board for all of the songs I'm playing. It's just because I'm used to it. It's just
Yeah.
through familiarity. But like the parts,
Yeah.
there's a couple times when they just start chanting together as a group about what a Jellicle cat
Mm-hmm.
is, and like I
Yes.
can't accept that.
Yes. Yeah.
I get a lot of questions. It's weird. It's that seems like it's put in there just to, I guess, just to dare people to like it. Because there's no way you could be watching that and be like, I like this. This is good.
You're right.
Yeah, and it has to be
You're
really
right.
off-putting in see it in person, like having
In
cats.
person, I absolutely,
Yeah,
because and some of these pieces feel like they go on for a minute or two longer than they
oh
need
yeah,
to.
yeah,
Like I mean, and I'm not even saying like, I'm not even saying just because like we get the point in the first 10 seconds of the song.
right.
But I'm
This is what
saying like
musicals
it's
are.
like, no, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But you're singing about something specific, and maybe like a something that is maybe like at a high emotional state, or whatever it is.
right.
You're trying to further along, or trying to figure something out, or whatever it is. But um they're like, it was like, you've talked about this already a lot,
Yeah,
and you haven't really moved the conversation forward
right.
or anything. It's just like, you have one point to make, and then now you're giving me 24 examples of that one point that
Right.
you're making. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like there's
um
also the dancing component. So maybe they're doing something interesting with the dance, but even then, yeah, about halfway
yeah.
through, it's like, okay, you're kind of repeating stuff or not. Or I'm not saying anything
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
special
Hold
after
on
that.
1 second. I gotta
Yeah,
go
yeah, yeah.
get this dog is eating something.
Oh no. Yeah, speaking of dogs eating things, cats need to eat stuff. The cats at Hazel House need your help to have food. So donate. The links are in the chat. Links are in the description. They're out in Portland, Oregon, which is notoriously it's a food desert for cats, if I recall. I've never seen a rat in Portland, so the
What's
cats there
that?
must be hungry.
Yeah, yeah. The I'm at my sister Angela's place, and the rooster, their dog, was
That's a
eating
great dog name.
yeah, yeah, eating a some kind of napkin.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
like,
yeah,
I
you're on
don't
the
know where
West
he's going.
Coast, right?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
Hazel's House, our charity for today, they're in Portland, Oregon, and I can't remember if you're in Portland or Seattle. I get them mixed up constantly.
I will actually, I'm in Seattle right now,
Okay,
but I'll on the 25th I'll be in Portland.
nice. You can
Yeah,
swing by Hazel's
yes.
house and see how our
Yeah.
donations are helping
Well,
cats.
I will. I just donated, so
Yeah.
I will expect when I go by there. I'll expect a thank you
Yeah.
and a
Have your
hero's
name on the
welcome.
billboard or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Ben donated, so you guys should donate too. Like the links
Yeah,
are there in the
everybody.
description
uh,
in the chat.
Any anything helps for
Oh
sure.
yeah. Yeah. So yes, have you been to dinner theater before? That I've never been to any sort of dinner theater. Or in a
No.
dinner theater show. Like I feel like that would be very distracting as a performer to have people eating
Yes.
while they're watching you.
Well, it is like um it is somebody eating while you're trying to do something
Right.
is crazy distracting. Somebody trying to like cut into it, like
Yeah, you can hear the
scraping their
clinking.
plate with
Yeah.
clinking, and it is crazy distracting because I've done like stand up and stuff where
Right.
people are eating, and that is just, it's horrible.
Yeah.
and yeah, and like obviously like a waiter or waitress or whoever has to
Right.
kind of come around, and
Yeah.
so they're just walking around, and you have to ignore that too. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've never done a dinner theater. I've always tried to eat before going to see a play.
That's a good idea.
So yeah, so I'm not starving or whatever. Like,
I feel during intermissions, I always feel like I need to buy a snack, and then half the time I forget to open it until the play starts. I'm like, oh man, I got to open a Snickers bar while they're trying to give a monologue.
somebody's doing like some heartfelt monologue, and you're like,
Yeah, you gotta do it slow because you don't want to. You think somehow that's gonna make it better, but
right,
it definitely makes it
right. For sure, it's the ripping a band-aid off of opening food. You just need to you need to get it over with, because it'll just, everybody's around you's giving you like that. Oh my god, like, are you kidding me? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think doing a musical actually wouldn't be as bad for dinner theater, like performance-wise, because like
yeah, you don't really have, like, you're doing choreographed dances
right,
with the people there, so you're probably concentrating on that a little more.
yeah, instead of talking right at the audience.
Yeah.
Well, that reminds me of a time. Oh man, I went to a show at Kumakahua Theater out here, where you're playing the stage is right there on the floor, and you're feet away from the performers. And I went to see a play my ex-girlfriend took me to because one of her friends was in it, and it was like late afternoon, and I was kind of sleepy, and I kept dozing off, like in the front row, like 2 feet away from the guy. I'm like, oh man, I feel bad. But also, it was a especially interesting play.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny, because when you're doing a performance, it's depending on what kind of performance it is, like eating is one thing, but if you are like, if you have that look of like, this sucks on your face, even if you're not like heckling or anything like that, or if you're like basically just not paying attention, like sleeping, you kind of like concentrate, like you can't help but like concentrate on that person.
Stare at them.
You're like, what's going on over here? Like, why did they come? Those are pretty terrible. But then again, don't have such shitty art.
Like, just be a better actor.
Like, listen, write your own Cats thing, and then we'll herald you a genius for the rest of your life.
I'm sure I bored a lot of people while I'm on stage, so I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
That's true. You have probably more than
you me specifically.
You've had like, karma's gotten you already. Like, you've had your comeuppance with bored looks from the audience or whatever.
Looking at their phones in the middle.
They're like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. That kind of like, I've had plenty of that for sure. But I don't know, like, would you are you a fan of musicals, like, or do you just watch the ones that you force yourself to watch?
Basically just that, and then like a handful I've liked, like Little Shop of Horrors and Cannibal the Musical, like anything where like people get eaten usually will do it for me.
Okay.
But I think a big thing for me in musicals is like, well, like you were saying, like you'll get a song, it'll tell you about a character, and it'll be 4 or 5 minutes long just to tell you the bad guy is the bad guy. When you could have had a couple of scenes showing him do bad guy stuff, and I'd rather watch that in a play instead of kind of a song that kind of just repeats the things. So it doesn't. Most musicals don't hit me right.
There's a couple of types of musicals, right? The ones where like every word is sung, or the ones where there's like there's like, yeah, no, I know. Yeah. Les Miserables or whatever, that thing is hard to watch.
Yeah.
But again, just, I'm in the minority with some of those
Right.
opinions, but there's plenty of musicals out there that have like plenty of dialogue, and then they break into like song for
Right.
a like some kind of choice they have to make, or a obviously like emotional peak
Right.
or something
Yeah.
like that, which makes much more sense to me,
Right.
because it's more like it feels more impactful,
Yeah.
than just like every word in the thing is sung or whatever.
Right.
It's just like it gets like a little drony, drones on a little bit. So I don't know. So I
Sometimes it gets
prefer
hard
those.
to, yeah, it's hard to understand what people are saying sometimes when they're just sing talking for no reason. It's not part of the song. I
Yep.
can't get on board with it.
Yep. Yeah, and it's not even like, I don't know. I assume they probably rehearse it, but sometimes it doesn't even seem like it's done to any like actual melody. You're just
Right.
like, I can't. There's no discernible, like they're just stringing words together now.
Yeah. Someone just said you're not allowed to talk. You have to make it sing songy.
Yes.
Yes.
So they're just going up and down in random places. You're like, what is, I know what you're doing. Yeah. This is everybody else around you is like eating it up, and you're like, I don't know.
This is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you said, I do it. That's what will get me is when the songs have meaning and that as part of the plot. That really, that I'm fine with. That I like. But yeah, there's a lot of things about most musicals that kind of turn me off. It's hard to find good ones.
Yeah, at the Chicago Opera, I think it was, or the Chicago. Yeah, I went and saw My Fair Lady, and it was killer. I really enjoyed it. Like, it was exactly that. They had plenty of dialogue, but they were really invested in then what everything that was important got sung, kind of thing. And like it was killer. It was a killer show. So yeah, like I said, I'm not poo-pooing musicals by any means. I think there's some really well done ones out there. I mean, Hamilton was fantastic. Like, it was great. I don't know if you've got a chance to see that.
Not yet.
Did you watch? I mean, they have it on like HBO. You can watch like the original cast or whatever. But in person, like it's very, super well done, super interesting. I think that was like there is some dialogue, but it was all dialogue headed towards a song. Like, it was interestingly done as well, because they would have like a few lines between characters, but all like heading for another song kind of thing. So I would say 90% of that was sung, but there was some. So there's variation, I guess. There's like a spectrum, I would say.
Yeah.
I'll
check it out. I think maybe I'll do the 12 Days of Hamilton next year. If there's, I don't know if there's, that might be harder to find 12.
Yeah, you stick with the older, stick with older pieces, because you're gonna have people like this YouTube lady that is doing all the work for you. And I'm sure you'll probably find ones that you
find something
you really enjoy.
It's like when I was doing Rent last year, and I'm kind of hitting it with this thing too, where it's like 10 days in, I'm like, okay, I think I like this musical, and then by the time I'm done with it, like, I don't have to watch this again.
Yeah,
good thing.
Yeah, it is. I think that some of these that are still, I mean, this is kind of I don't know, this might be a bit of a hot take, I guess, but some of these that are still popular, I can't imagine them staying popular with like the Gen Z and the generation after, because it doesn't really speak to experience that, like, like some of those, like the ones, like say Angels in America about
Right.
AIDS,
Yeah.
basically, and gay couples and AIDS, and it's like
Right.
some generations don't really know what that is. Like,
Yeah.
you have to know some history so it's not readily like it used to be, basically like, oh, this is my story, or this is friends of mine's story, or whatever.
Right. The
I
world's very
don't
different
know.
now.
Yeah. I think some of those age, unlike cats, some of
Yeah.
those will age out
Right.
to where we don't really understand them anymore.
Yeah. But there's still plenty of cats that are horny, or they like to get into
Yeah.
trouble or do magic or whatever. So,
Yeah. Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. All of the above. We still have those. We still have those cats running around. Yeah.
Something other thing I wanted to mention about this production, being dinner theater, I was expecting them to, like, it maybe cutting some corners or not being able to do all the stuff that you would see in a normal show because
Yes.
you have lower budget and things like that. But they
Yeah.
basically did everything. The only thing, and they did a good job with a lot of stuff. Like the costumes
Mhm.
and the choreography and everything was good.
Yes.
The one thing that
crazy,
stood out to me,
crazy costume. Go ahead.
yeah. So the thing that stood out to me was at the end when Grisabella gets selected to go to the Heaviside Layer, and in every other place she gets on some sort of elevator or something that will take her up, like towards heaven, or go up some stairs or do something. But in this one, there was just like the second layer where she was at the end of the song, and then there was nowhere for her to go. So they turned a smoke machine on, and then she crawled on all fours backstage. Very weird.
Yeah. I didn't know that because I've never seen another production.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was like, oh, they're nailing it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it does sound pretty easy fix to just have her on the bottom.
Yeah, and then go up
level,
and walk out back. Yeah.
Yeah, and just like go up the slide or something and walk out or whatever. But that's
choice.
Pretty funny. Yes, for sure. There was also, and I don't know if those. Do you remember the costumes at the beginning? That were, I guess, were they? They didn't seem to like, and the footage is not the best.
Yeah.
They were not cat costumes, or they were cat costumes, like the
where they were just up like rats or.
Yeah, I guess
bugs.
was that it? Bums or rats or something else. They weren't cat. It wasn't obvious that they were cats or whatever. Right. It was one of the beginning.
During the Jenny Anydot song, they talk about how she teaches rats and cockroaches, like after the lights go out in the middle of the night. She teaches them how to like knit things. So they'll have three of them. 3 cats will come out and they'll have like rat faces that they've made out of trash. And then there'll be a little chorus line of cockroaches that come out later.
Gotcha.
Which in the movie that they just made, Rebel Wilson eats a bunch of them, which is real gross.
What night? What 12 Days of Christmas night did you watch that one?
7 or 8, I think, with Dan. It was just a few days ago. Yeah.
I was how was that pretty true to, or did they have to actually, because it was a movie, that actually had to put a loose plot to it?
Yeah, they put a bunch of stuff like in this, like we were saying, it's one of those ones that's sung through all the way through. There's no non-singing dialogue, but they added some stuff in there to try to make it more clear plot-wise.
Yeah.
So they talked about how this is.
They tried to make sense of it.
Yeah, like all these cats, they're singing their songs because they want to be selected to go up to the Heaviside Layer, like Isabella does at the end. And then the Cavity was much more of a villain and like sneaking up and kidnapping cats and stuff after their songs and things.
Come to think of it, it's interesting that movie got panned so hard. It's like the reviewers have never seen a production of Cats. They just like, it's like if they had, they'd be like, oh, this is probably pretty good, or or like it's fine or whatever, because it got pretty universally panned.
Yeah, it's because it looks so crazy.
Yes.
All the way to CGI.
Hilarious.
Their faces onto the things.
Yeah. That's funny that you're like, it looks so crazy. Have you seen a production of this fever dream called Cats?
Yeah, with the bodysuits and the tails tied to around their waist and all that stuff. Crazy hair.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, and
yeah,
yeah, it is. Yeah, so the makeup
yeah,
and hair is pretty ridiculous. I can't imagine, like, I would think I think the same thing about like the Blue Man Group as I do Cats, which is like every weekend, 4 shows a weekend or whatever, you
right,
have to spend 2 hours
yeah,
in a makeup chair, getting paint like repainted or whatever. That
yeah,
seems like like you're like, oh, I got this great gig playing
right,
one of the cats and cats, and it's like, oh yeah, your 16-week run, 2 shows a night or whatever.
right.
It's like, uh,
You got to be
it's
there
gonna,
5 hours
yeah,
early to get your makeup done.
yes, yeah, it seems horrible.
Because there's a lot of cats, and like the makeup, like at least with Blue Man Group, it's just you're blue all over, so you can just do that yourself.
Yeah,
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 and
that's
there's
true.
no way to screw it up really, as long as you get the blue on you. But like
Right, you like
cats, like someone
patches
has
of
to,
skin thrown
yeah,
through. Yeah, yeah,
someone actually has to
yeah.
do all your whiskers and the dots and the eye stuff, and it's
Yeah,
on every cat. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
whole
yeah,
thing.
and even
Yeah,
for the like kind of smaller production dinner theater, there was a sizable cast.
yeah,
Um, it was, I mean, and every one of them, it wasn't like, oh well, we'll just put, we won't worry about the makeup. We'll just put whiskers on some of the backup
right,
dancers or
yeah,
whatever. It's like full
yeah.
shit. They could you imagine being like a struggling musical performer or whatever, and
Right.
being like, all right, we cast you in this dinner theater production, but you're dumpster cat number 13 or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're out there for 2 musical numbers, but you only get to be on your knees as one of the main characters is thrusting his,
Yeah. You just
okay.
bob your
Yeah.
head and I'm
Yeah,
with this
yeah, exactly.
crotch. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, some of the roles are kind of shitty.
Yeah. Well, also they get, everyone gets their moment during the Jellicle Ball, the 9-minute unbroken dance
Oh
number
my
in the middle.
god. Oh, speaking of like unnecessary. Oh my gosh. That's moment like 3 or 4 minutes in there where you're like, this is just like, what is this? You wonder what I guess in the 30s people had typewriters, right? He's behind his
Yeah, yeah.
typewriter. He's like,
Right. So
oh,
the
this
30s,
is.
that was when T.S. Eliot wrote the poems that it's based on. But
Oh, when did the
Andrew Lloyd Webber made this in the 80s, like early 80s, I think.
Oh, okay, okay. So that's why they had like basically the leg warmers and stuff,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
cat leg warmers and stuff. I didn't realize that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's where like the name or whatever came from, or the Jellicle cat.
Yeah, the Jellicle stuff, and yeah, the idea for all the cats came from the 30s, but the musical itself was written in the 80s.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like
it's
it
still.
doesn't feel like it makes it better.
Yeah,
Uh, it like because they did have it. It made it work. It makes it worse in a way because you in the 80s they were making plays like Angels in America
right.
and like so that's not great.
Yeah, and Andrew Lloyd Webber's made a lot of big mainstream stuff, so it's not like he's
Yeah.
not a weird psycho who's just only making crazy things. Like,
Yeah. So, like, what do you think that is as far as like it was one that he was like, I just because I'm a horny cat guy, I just want to write this, and they'll probably never make it, but it's just something that I want to have or whatever. And it, obviously they were like, let's do it.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's what it was. I think he was just like, man, I like cats, and this is just a show all
yeah,
about cats, and all the different kinds of cats. That's good
yeah,
enough for me for this one thing. And it's just so crazy that I caught on so big. I don't.
yeah.
It's inexplicable.
Um, as far as like musical, like famous musical writers and stuff like that, I was actually pretty kind of surprised that he was like a straight guy. Like he's got like a wife
Yeah.
and kids
Yeah.
and stuff.
I'm always surprised by that kind of stuff.
Especially
how much he loves his cat.
Right. It feels like it does feel like like a kind of an old gay guy was like, I want to write a musical about my cats. Like, which makes kind of sense. Like yeah.
So it reminds me of one time. So my wife was watching Project Runway, right? No, wait, is that the one where the designers, right? They're all clothes designers.
That sounds right.
I think it's that one. That's not the model one. Anyways, yeah. So it's all these clothes fashion designers, and it's like competition reality show. And like one year, I found out one of the guys that was doing really well was a straight guy, and you're like, what?
Yeah. Like a fashion designer. That's You're like, holy shit.
Good for you,
man. That's you're a unicorn in this business.
Yeah. Finally, straight white men are allowed in the fashion world.
Who wants their opinion on any kind of fashion stuff? Yeah. Everything. But he got through the competition. Everything he designed was like Carhartt themed.
Yeah. A lot of it's all denim, sleeveless stuff.
Yeah. Right. And then you're like, no, he's definitely gay again. Like a fine line. Like
the macho to gay. That's
Yeah. That's funny. I didn't have much else. It was like like the message I sent you. It was pretty difficult to get through as far as like a first watch.
Right.
Like because I know you said like you were kind of getting into the music, by the middle of, you're having to watch
after doing it for a week.
Half a dozen versions of these. Like you're like, oh, okay, I'm kind of getting into it a little bit.
I'm not straining my ears to try to understand what people are singing just because I know the songs already. So that makes it easier for me to watch these.
Yes. Right. So it wasn't like taking like taking your first sip of whiskey. It was it was a little bit shocking, I guess, to the system, to try and sit through this. But it was a sip of whiskey that lasted for an hour and 45 minutes.
Which the Broadway show supposedly goes 2 hours and 40 minutes. So I guess you're better off that way. I hope that's including the intermission.
Yeah, I can't. They're like, hurry back. We've got another hour and a half. You're on a date with some girl that really likes cats, and you're like, all right, we're basically done, right? And they're like, nope.
No. Have you ever seen Return of the Jedi? It's that much longer before.
Yeah. And like Return of the Jedi, it was not.
It was. That's something I want to ask you as we start to wrap up. Is like, do you want to go now and seek out Cats, like another version of Cats that you can watch and figure out?
No, I mean, I actually just basically during this conversation, talking to basically a connoisseur of cats at this point.
Right. Yeah.
I because it's very confusing. The whole, because there's no real plot, and like the songs are long and arduous, and so now that I kind of realize, like, oh yeah, you're not actually missing anything. There's not really a
you're not going to get much more out of watching a better quality.
So like the whole time I was kind of just expecting, like, okay, so something's going to pop off here, and something's going to happen, something's going to start, and we're going to get into it. And since now I know that was like really not the case, because like I said, I thought maybe since it was dinner theater, they just had to leave out a bunch of shit. That makes it make sense. And now that I know that that's not the case, I actually I wouldn't mind actually watching a production that people are like, this is the production to watch. Like
Right. Okay.
this is the this is the definitive version or
Right.
whatever. Maybe an off Broadway or a Broadway
Yeah.
production
Right.
where
Yeah.
there's like this is the one you got to see if you're ever going to kind of
Right.
appreciate this show.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people will say that it was the 1998 home video when they did that was they recorded in the West End in England. I think that's the one. That's kind of the standard one that everyone knows the best.
Okay.
Yes, everyone
maybe
do that. Yeah.
try and check that one out. Yeah. So it it didn't make me. It made me confused and and just with a lot of the 1,000 questions. But I didn't at the end of it, I didn't hate it. It was just it was just confusing and kind of grating.
Right.
And too long, maybe.
Yeah. It's definitely something that you said you're always wondering how people like this.
Yes.
Yeah,
because for sure. Yeah, I can't say that it was the worst piece of art I've ever seen, but it definitely is not something. I don't, after watching it, it's not something I felt like, oh, I've been missing out on this for years hearing about it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I didn't miss anything.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah. All right.
Cool.
Well, it was good
talking to you.
Yeah, good talking to you, man. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. So everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for donating. Ben, do you have anything you want to plug or anything before we sign off for the night?
Yeah, sure. Just follow me on Instagram. It's just Benjamin St. John, and I'll be hopefully posting some some cool stuff from some stand-up sets that I've done, some weird audience interaction stuff and stuff like that's happened to me. I just left Alaska, so it was a pretty interesting stand-up or comedy scene up there. So
that's pretty.
Hopefully I'll have some good stuff cut up for everybody.
Right. Nice
enjoyment.
Yeah, so everybody check that on Instagram. And we'll be back tomorrow night with Rory. I think for our Christmas Eve Israeli version of Cats. So that'll be fun. He's my only Jewish friend, so we have to watch the Israeli version.
Yes.